by the retired Vice Admiral Robert Harward. He's the former deputy commander of CENTCOM, but also grew up in Tehran before the revolution, which is important context, obviously, Admiral, for this conversation. But what would you say about the degree of risk involved in some of these operations that the president's reportedly considering? Let's start with seizing Kharg Island, which has been talked about for some time now.
Well, I guess it all goes back to the end state, what you're trying to achieve. If you want to lock down and shut down Iranian oil, you can do a lot of ways other than taking Kharg Island. If your message is to the Iranian people, we're here, we want to put boots on the ground and start triggering something bigger internal to Iran, then that risk associated with Kharg Island may be appropriate. So it goes back to your end state. There are a lot of other places we can put boots on the ground that may not be as risky as Kharg Island. Abadan, which is accessible through the Shatt al-Arab, is another one of their major refineries. Maybe that's a place where boots on the ground may signify something else. And there may be other locations based on intelligence where you would be received by a friendly population that may be part of the longer-term regime change. So all those options are on the table, with the risk being, at the end of the day, U.S. casualties.
Right. Let me talk about it this way then, or ask it this way in terms of what an endgame might look like. Say you're a politician who's promised your people that this operation that you've ordered is going to last 4 to 6 weeks. You're in week 5, and you want to get out of it with a key shipping lane, the Strait of Hormuz, being open for business again. What's the best way to do that, in your view?
Well, again, negotiations of political settlement where the regime agrees to not only turn over its nuclear material to stop their ballistic missiles, but allow free shipping through the straits would be a very appropriate political solution. But that leaves them at risk for the longer term. So we're in this dilemma where both sides are looking for solutions that neither one can agree to. And for the regime, it's ultimately regime change is their existential threat, and they see Trump as the largest impediment to that. So they're going to try to outweigh President Trump as best they can, but I think the clock is not working in their favor.
In the regime's favor?
That's correct. The more they're decimated militarily, the more they lose missile capability, the more their Navy is sunk. And those are all inevitable because we control the strikes. The more we can eradicate those and decimate those, it puts them at more risk, not just from us, but from the population that's looking for change as well.
So you think they'll look to cut a deal? What might it look like?
I would think they're going to have to. I think they're going to give as little as they can, right. Be it maybe flow through the straits. At the end of the day, maybe some of the agreements in the nuclear, but I don't think they're ever going to give up their trump card, so to speak, of handing over the material.
I want to talk about that a little bit. Say we do go in and try to get it, that uranium. I had Brian Stern on last hour. He used to be special operations himself. He now runs that Graybill rescue, does a lot of extractions and that kind of thing. But here's part of what he said, and then I want to get your view on the challenge of going inside Iran and trying to recover this uranium. Here's Brian.
The boys are going to have to fight their way into a mountain complex that is heavily fortified and heavily defended just to get to the objective area. And then they have 1,000 pounds of radioactive material to extract and make it out in one piece. This will be a very tough operation.
Yeah, it does sound like a tough operation. Admiral, you know Iran. What would you add?
High risk. Extremely high risk because of the distances, the mass of the population, differentiating who's friendly, who's not. Their armed forces, their besieged, you're prepared for these. These are high-risk evolutions. I'm not saying it's out of our capability, but definitely high risk and a lot of lives at stakes on both sides of the table.
How would you determine whether it's worth the risk, which I understand is a political question, but what types of questions do you think would be the right ones to ask?
Well, I think there's other ways to go at this. If the end state is getting the material, then eradicating the regime's ability to project power. If they can't launch missiles and they can't shut down the straits, we have all the time in the world to do that. So
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.